Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundries home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who are silenced. Our next case, we search for Paula Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paula's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
This, but let me put this out here. Stop Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are. Want to tiptoe around it. Want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This way you had me messed up at. Huh. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good afternoon, all. It has been exhausting, to say the least. Many of you know we're having technical issues, internet issues. I don't even know how well this internet live is going to go. So I'm at the mercy of technology. So forgive me. It has been pretty rough. So Bullhorn Betty has literally had 8.5 hours of sleep in 2 days. That's the reality. It's been a lot of hard work. Many of you guys have been watching on Dolly Vision's channel. Big shout out to him. I want to give a big shout out to all the people that, sponsored stuff through the Amazon wish list and other things that you have done through donations, and obviously delivering coffee and food today. That was really, really awesome. But even that pole, the selfie stick that raised really high, that was from a beautiful person out here on YouTube that sponsored that. So I just shout out to everybody, shout out to the teamwork. This was a really sad case that many of us had a hard, we kind of knew. How many people, we've got almost over 1,000 people in the chat already, and we're only 7.5 minutes in. How many people by a show of number ones believe that this mother was responsible, or if nothing more, somebody in the household? Let's be broad. If anybody thought somebody in the household did something to this child and this child wasn't coming back, put a 1 in the chat. Because I guarantee everybody knew. Everybody. This is one of those, the most blatant, the stuff that we found out here. I'm sure you guys have already heard about it on Dolly Vision and everything else. Like, these kids just sounded like they were just punching bags in that house. And this house is filled with adults. It was filled with adults. These kids were going to the nanny's house, to the babysitter's house, with bruises all over. This wasn't just one. And it makes me wonder, because Sky is so young, what that little baby has endured in the house. I am so sorry. If DCS hasn't come in and taken the rest of those kids out, I don't know, because it doesn't sound like it was just Quentin that was covered in bruises before this even happened. It seemed that Zane, from what I'm hearing, was also abused. So my question is if the grandmother knew that this was going on, how are those kids even left with Leilani? This doesn't sound like this was a first incident or a second incident or a third incident. This sounded like this was a regular thing. A regular thing. The people in and around this family, they all in my account appear to be very violent people. All of them. The friends of the family. I mean, there was just one person that was opening the gate the first day that we got there. I don't know if it was a brother or if it was somebody else. He was tall, he was dark hair. He seemed to be very pleasant. I mean, we're all out there under unusual circumstances and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? All unusual circumstances. Nobody wants to be there. It's not like I really want to be there. Give it a rest. That's not what I want to be doing with my time. I'd rather not even have I'd rather the children be living, to adulthood and stuff like that. But there's an attack on our kids in this country. And every time you look at it, there is a very strong element of alcohol and drugs involved in the home, which leads to violence. The neighbor's a hot mess. So you can tell that's just the environment that these kids lived in. And it appears to me, Leilani went from abused to abuser. Because Billy Joe, she didn't do it right with her children, and she didn't do it right with her grandchildren. She has no business being in charge of those kids. None. Because if she was, she should have taken those kids with her or made sure that those children didn't have anything to do with their mother unless it was supervised. But listen to this. They weren't in that house alone, it doesn't appear. It appears that other people are in that house living with them. So there's other people witnessing Leilani do this to their children. It's insane. And then what's more insane? What is even more insane for me is that she's not arrested yet. She's not detained on the suspicion of, murdering her 20-month-old son, because that's pretty much what I think everybody's alleging here. The kids. Think about it. I mean, if that kid had drowned or hurt himself, she would have called 911. Why was her first thought to throw him in a garbage can and wait for the garbage to pick him up? Who does that? Who does that? I don't get it. I don't get it. So I know you guys are watching stuff. I have no access to, I've got content. Content is going to be coming out as soon as we get different internet, different plugs, stuff. I don't know. I need to download it, but that stuff will be coming out. So I'm just going to open this up. I know you guys must have 1,000 questions to ask about what's going on, what we heard. So I'm going to try to start reading the chat, and maybe I can give some clarity on some of the stuff that we're seeing. But this precious boy was thrown away like trash. And it sounds to me like she beat him to death. We haven't heard that yet. They haven't found him. There's no autopsy. But just based on the past behavior and then her playing like, I didn't know, I don't remember anything. But you remembered that when trash day was, you remembered that trash was coming to get that day. You remembered to wait for the trash man to leave with the trash before you called the child in as missing. I mean, you remember that. You remember all these things, but all of a sudden you don't remember anything that happened that put your child in that garbage can. I don't know. Let me read what your questions are. So Angel said, everyone that witnessed anything without reporting it should be arrested also. Something needs to start going on. I mean, I don't know and probably need to educate myself on this aspect of the law, but there is a portion where you're not required to report a crime, but I don't know if that extends to children. And I think that's a state by state law. I'm not even sure about that. But I definitely need to look that up because I'm curious. That makes me curious because yes, if it's not, then they need to change that so it at least is a misdemeanor or something, especially when it comes to a child. My feelings about the presser. Okay, well, listen to this. So we get there. They locked themselves in a room. You had to go through like this gatekeeper to get in there. It was hard as hell. They wanted to verify. So I gave the lady all the verification she needs. She comes in there, she gets all the information. She calls them. My company calls me back and actually says she gave them the wrong number. So she was trying to get their attention. Fox 28 comes in there. They denied me access. They denied Fox 28 access. And they only had like literally maybe 4 or 5 reporters. They didn't want anybody asking questions in there. They didn't want anybody in there. They wanted to make their statement and they wanted to be done with it. Quite frankly, I don't know what they said because I was there outside those doors when they were talking. So I haven't even had an opportunity to watch it yet. But it, to me, seemed like they didn't want anything but to make a statement and move on. And that's so frustrating because, quite frankly, Leilani is not even being detained at this moment. This girl most likely killed her son, murdered her son, and threw him away like trash. And she is still able to visit with friends right now at her home. I just, me personally, don't know when that has ever been okay. Like, you have enough probable cause to arrest her on child abuse without even charging her with murder. Why in the hell is she able to eat a dinner with her friends or visit with her friends or cry on a friend's shoulder? She doesn't deserve that. No, she doesn't deserve that. Many of you guys didn't know what to think when I went out came here. There was a lot of speculation on what I was doing. First of all, I always tell my audience I'm very honest with them. So if I go on a fact-finding mission, that's what I do. This one, I didn't say that. I said I was pissed. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to do a silent protest. I didn't know if I was going to do a bullhorn. I didn't know what I was going to do out here. I just knew I wanted to do something. I definitely knew I was going to be posting missing person flyers everywhere. I brought 20 of them. When we got into town, I knew very, very clearly that not one person thought that this child was missing. Not one. Because the only missing person flyers that came into this town were the ones that I brought. So there's 20 of them. There's 20 in this entire town for this little 20-month-old boy. Okay, so baby in the trash or the field. I think it said filed, but I think you meant field, Kristen. The baby was apparently put in the garbage, picked up, and taken to the landfill. So the last I heard, there were people at the landfill looking for this child. There is no doubt in my mind that this child will be found. I really believe that, and I talk about it a little bit, the logistics at these landfill are pretty amazing. And I know that because I'm associated, I'm involved in my county and I'm involved in my county politics. So, regulating these landfills, especially for the county, we hear about it in these meetings. And I heard about the technology that they use in these landfill and how they cordon these landfills off. And they can literally tell what section of that landfill has what day's trash in it. It's that impressive. So even though it's still a lot of trash you have to go through, at least they have some sort of direction to go. They don't have to search that entire field, which is pretty good. But if you look into it, those landfills are pretty impressive for being such a crappy job. No pun intended, right? I mean, it stinks out there. The job that the law enforcement is now faced is not going to be a pretty task. it's going to be horrible. The smells out there are something that would make you, literally lose your lunch. It is not advised to eat before you go out there to work, especially having to dig around in it. So I'm sure that they've got big equipment in there. I'm sure that they're picking stuff up as gingerly as possible and searching through every little bit that they can. It's just sad because the image of that is just, it's got to be, I don't even know what to say. I'm pretty sure the girl was going to lose her kids. The CPS always tries to keep the children with the closest relatives that the children knew best. So the courts and the CPS dropped the ball. Yes, they dropped the ball. It's not uncommon for maybe a parent to take over, or a grandparent to take over guardianship. My best friend is doing that right now. But I'm telling you, the stuff, they were all up in my best friend's orifices taking her grandchildren. They still are, because she's only had them for a year. This is a 2-year process. I don't understand how they didn't know that this unfit mother was living and caring for these kids when they were supposed to be in the care and being taken care of by somebody else. What was the whole purpose of the court hearing if the kids were just going to be left with the unfit parent? I don't understand it. What was the whole court process over if they were just going to stay with Leilani? I don't get it. So it tells me that the courts must not have known, and therefore Billy Joe had to have lied to them. Or maybe that's what the whole eviction was all about. Who knows? I can tell you that whole house is dysfunctional. There ain't one person going in or out of that house that had, I don't know. The whole family's rotten, in my opinion. The babysitter was on only one to show that that sweet baby. Yeah. And you know what? It was sad because, you have several people here. You have somebody like Billy Joe that supposedly turned her life around, right? I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I don't know the lady, right? She may have. But to allow this to happen, we're not even going to touch that for this thing, okay? But she has a past and appeared, about 10 years ago, turned herself around. You don't see any more criminal stuff. You see a lot of bad stuff, the drugs, the burglaries, the forgeries, the prostitution, everything in grandma's past. But it seems like something happened 10 years ago or so where she cleaned her act up. And she wasn't in any trouble or anything like that. And then but she still, seems to be toxic in some sense. But then you have this lady over here, the babysitter, kind of not near that, but she has some problems in her past too that, raised my eyebrows. I have to be honest with you. It did raise my eyebrows. But she also turned her life around about 10 or so years ago. And it seems like she was involved with the church. She really went into it. You talk to her. She's very sweet. She's very personable. She's believable. It's hard not to believe her. It was actually shocking that she had a past at all, to be honest with you. But you're right. She was really the only person that showed this baby any love. And then when, especially, I didn't see her really come out until Billy Joe did what she did and going into her house, attacking her, attacking kids. Listen to this. And you guys do whatever you want to do with this information. But I heard that the babysitter actually filed charges against Billy Joe for breaking and entering, attacking her. It was recorded. Like it's undisputable what happened. Billy Joe broke the law and violently did so. Which violence is how we got here to begin with. Can we all agree on that? Like if there wasn't violence in that household, this poor baby probably would still be alive. Like the violence factor is everywhere. These people cannot control themselves. They have no anger control whatsoever. None. All of them. But you got this, this whole thing. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. We'll just pass that. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole that I probably don't need to go down. But everybody's right. Let's dump in a trash can. Yeah. Now, don't think I don't think grandma is probably in a lot of pain. Of course she is. But so is the mother. The mother's crying right now, right? The mother's heart is broken right now. Mom's crying, right? Mom's crying over her baby. Now, any new activity at the house since the press conference? Just a whole, yes. As you guys could see, people are saying they're bringing food for the loss of this child. Why weren't they bringing food during the missing of this child? To me, with them lining up on the outside of the house, it appeared like they were having a party. Leilani's inside. She killed her baby. She threw her baby away like trash. And now she's going to socialize. Now, mind you, these people at this house were up partying last night, even at 11:30, out there drinking beer, out there having a good old time. Okay, maybe they were upset. Maybe this is the only time they could just let loose and relax a little, maybe lift up the cheer. I don't know. Highly inappropriate, in my opinion. No, Brian Enton was not there. No, he was not there. I heard he was out here a few days ago, but he was not here. They did the press conference because the grandma spilled the beans. Yeah, I believe that. The statement was useless. Don't even know why they bought it. I figured that had to have been it because I have never, even the Fox 28 lady said she had never experienced anything like that. And I said, I have never, so I don't know what her name was. I mean, she was she had the lady's number on the inside that was the gatekeeper. She's calling her and texting her. And the lady literally would not let any more people in. She picked the 4 people. That is a violation, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I don't know. But whatever. Was it? They need to I know. And I think that's the reason why they didn't want the press really there. And they didn't want, because I think that they didn't want, I think it would have been in poor taste. And I think it would have upset everybody involved if they found out that they knew that this woman, this 20-something-year-old girl, killed her baby, threw him away like trash, and then lets her have fun. I don't know if she's having fun. I don't know. She might be terrified as heck. She should be. Nobody in that house has anger management control. Nobody. You get angry, you beat the crap out of somebody. Standard operating procedure in that household. No kid should be there. None. That was early on, and I don't think he said it like that. He basically implied he wasn't keeping tabs on her. Well, going back to the thing, I ended up going on a tangent, but when I talked to my audience, the ones that sponsored this trip for me to be here, we kind of agreed that we were going to take a middle ground approach to this, where it wasn't going to be, and it's all right there for all the haters that like to talk crap and say that I snuck up here and I'm just here to cause problems. By the way, thank you for the help, because part of the strategy is the intimidation factor. And with so many people reaching out to everybody was crapping eggs when I actually showed up here. It was fabulous. Like, I literally got out of the car in front of that house and every person knew me. Like, I'm serious. If you don't believe me, ask Dolly. He's sitting back there like, what? Seriously. And actually, one guy, the cameraman for Fox, he's out there. I was out there with him for 5 weeks in front of Gabby Petito's house. But then there's nobody, even with talking to them. The reason why they were camped out there, we were all camped out there for the same thing, because we wanted to get her being arrested and held accountable for what she did to her child, because she wasn't fooling anyone. No. That wasn't even a thought. Too much violence. It was kind of, it's much smaller scale because national, or we have local media. The most national that this has gotten here in this town is the YouTubers. That's as much national attention as this case is getting. This is all a local news. With Gabby Petito's, it didn't have national news. Like we were giving interviews to people from Japan and France. You know what I'm saying? So it was worldwide with Gabby Petito. This was much smaller, but it did have the appearance of it, where the news reporters were renting space at one of that guy's house, and I think that's why he was acting up. He was so scared he was going to lose his payday. That's what it came down. That's what it came down to. But anyways, they rented his spot so they could get up over, pull the truck up and put their camera up over the gate and stuff like that. What else? But other than that, I think everything else, it was just a few cars lined up. But we knew something big, because you don't usually get people sitting on houses or paying people money to rent space in the front of their house to sit on the house, unless it's big, unless they know an arrest or some breaking news is imminent. And that's the only time you see that. So yeah, it was kind of similar to Gabby, but much more condensed, much smaller in scale. No, I don't think she's going anywhere. I think she has fully surrendered to what she did. I think that she is fully broken. You got to realize that drugs and alcohol do horrible things to good people. Okay. It doesn't take, it takes the good person out of you temporarily, but you go back to that good person and to think that you are capable of doing something like that. I'm pretty sure that she is the mom, and I'm not giving her a pass or anything like that. I think she's a despicable woman. I hope she spends the rest of her life in jail. Depending on the injuries, I believe she deserves death penalty. If she literally beat that kid to, yeah, she deserves the death penalty. I don't care. I don't care. Not a big part of me, but a part of me wonders if that dinner is to sneak her out so she can ride. You know what? It's possible, but we watch it all the time. I mean, you can only go so far. I mean, they have a little bit of money, but they're not, financially, they just can't, hand over $100,000 and say, good luck. So it takes a lot of money to run. We saw it with Vicky and Casey White, how much money they went through in such a short amount of time. It costs money to run, folks. I mean, you can utilize friends for only so long before even that runs out. So even if she did go on the run, it would only be temporary. I wouldn't worry too much with that. Do you know what? She probably should be the one out there looking for him. That's just sad. I see some super chats. I'm so far. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm like 15 minutes behind in chats, and there's a lot of stuff coming in. So I'm trying to read through some things. How can they, what does it say here? No, she's at the house. She's at the house. Like I said, I've got friends, professional friends that acquaintances that I know in media from just, going around the country and doing this. And so the camera guy for Fox already told me that he got her going into the house. So she's at that house. He got her going in the house, I think yesterday, with a bag of groceries and something, and she hasn't left since. So, she's there. She's not at the police station. She's at the, I mean, unless she's gotten arrested since then. And it's my understanding that, which I haven't confirmed with any law enforcement body, but it's my understanding that they're probably not going to make an arrest until after they find his remains, which I think is crazy, because they literally have enough probable cause for the child abuse alone for her to be behind bars. So it sounds like she lawyered up. It sounds like the lawyer is working with her and trying to work this out. But I'm sorry, when it comes to a 20-month-old and throwing it out like trash, I'm sorry. There's just some things, this might have been what it was to get her to confess. So we've just got to, let this play out the way it's going to play out. We don't know why she's not in custody, but I have to say that with these allegations, there has to be some kind of, it just seems like there's terms of agreement here. You know what I'm saying? Because I've said that, Georgia really's got it together when it comes to this stuff. They're like Florida. They don't play. But if you're being cooperative, you'll be treated better than being completely uncooperative. So, this just feels, it may not be, but it just feels like there's some kind of agreement here. You confess, we'll let you stay out until, we have to monitor you, but we'll let you stay out until we find him, and then we'll make an arrest. Who knows? Hey, Angela D, nice to see you, honey. I heard the sob squad is being mean to you. It sucks. It sucks. But they have no relevance, so don't worry about it, babe. Do you think the boyfriend had anything to do with it or any knowledge of it? So Smiley, hi, honey. If anybody doesn't know Smiley's World, she's Smiley Stories World. She's another creator that I had a pleasure of meeting in Tennessee for the Summer Wells case. So that is, I'm kind of conflicted, and here's why. I'm conflicted because it seems like he should have known. It seems like he should have known, at least at minimum, about the abuse that was going on with these kids. But I also hear that he actually, because I remember I was asking that question if he left for work, and he did. He apparently left for work and came back. So I do believe he may not have had knowledge about this. I think she went overboard and said, oh crap. And I hear this is another thing. I hear that the brother of Leilani, the one that was out, may also be facing or had some culpability in the cover up or something like that. I was hearing that today on ground, out there, that there's some kind of culpability possibly with the brother as well. So I don't know how deep this goes. I don't know who was involved. I don't know how this, all I know is that everybody in that household knew that this child was dead and not missing. And the only way I can explain how they knew is because not one search party, not one stinking flyer in this entire town. Not one. When I say not one, I mean not one. Not one on any pole, not one in any dirty restroom, not one in any restaurant, not one missing person child anywhere in this town. Nowhere. 20-month-old. Nobody in this town thought this baby was missing. Nobody. I can't express that enough. Oh, Ricky, nice to see you, my friend. I think we all need to be on our knees praying to the Lord and asking God to get rid of all these evil spirits. Amen. Amen. Justice for Quentin Simon. Yes. He hasn't gotten justice yet. I'm so angry at the fact he's in a flippin' landfill, a garbage dump. Like, I'm just still trying to wrap my head around this whole beautiful baby is in just draped with trash and probably pounds of trash on top of it. And it turns my ever-loving stomach. It turns my ever-loving stomach. I'm sorry. There's just some things, there's some places I go where these cases are bad. Like, we have all these thoughts about Summer Wells and stuff, that she may still be alive, this, that, and the other. Like, this one is known to us, and how it's known to us is just disgusting. It's sick. They even said they didn't know where the mom is. He can't make an arrest because he only has one time to do so. He said, did he say that she fled? Because I've got a camera guy saying that he's got her going in the house. I'm telling you, we are all lucky about that. But the grandmother has no business. She had one bite at the apple. Like she had custody of these kids and was about to get, was awarded child support. She had one bite at the apple, and she left them in the same care that they were being taken out of. What kind of oxymoron is that? Yeah, Betty, she is working so damn hard. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see you, Emma. Everyone in the home are accessories to the crime. I'm like right there with you, Darla. Like that's how I feel. And they're not, I mean, the nastiness, the vile, I mean, they're vile, nasty. Like they can't even control themselves. Oh, their friends can't even control themselves without outburst, angry outburst. They're angry people. Even her friends are angry. Like, and people are like, well, they're probably angry about the baby. No, I have a funny feeling that's their normal personality. I'm sorry. Like I read people well, and I'm kind of thinking, I mean, that's how they all are all the time. So I don't think I'm special. Right? Because I wasn't there last night, and Fox News said that household was acting like they were ready to shoot them last night. That I wasn't out there at all. They told me that this morning when I pulled up. And I'm like, no. I said they wouldn't be so stupid. And he's like, they start pulling the trucks out and blocking the front. We were just out here, watching. They're allowed to do that. They're press. And which people don't think that they're allowed to do. Yes, you are allowed to do it. Okay. If we weren't allowed to do this, we would all go to jail. So anybody that keeps telling you that we can't do this is absolutely an idiot. An idiot. I can't even talk. I'm so exhausted. 8.5 hours in the last 48 hours. That's as much sleep as I've had. I've been working my little tail off, sitting. It's hard. It's tedious work. It's sitting there and waiting. It's sitting in the car. It's driving around here, driving around there. It's just the tedious work. It's not even like, building a house where it's hot work. It's a lot of boring work. It's a lot of surveillance. I mean, it's just boring work. People don't like it. People don't like it at all. If we get too many trolls in here, I don't know how you're going to tell me, but I'm going to look through here. If we got too many trolls, I will move this to subscriber only for 1 hour. Because the only people that need to be here is the people that support this channel. I don't really care about anybody else. Thank you. Could landfill be a diversion? Thank you for going. No, I don't think so. We heard, you know what? This has been leaked to us for a long time. Think about it. Since this case broke on YouTube, what was the first thing that's been going around? She waited until the trash was picked up before she called law enforcement. That's what's been being passed around on here literally forever. We've known about this almost since day one. It's no, I don't think it's a diversion. I think it's no surprise, to be honest with you. That's just how I feel about it. Oh, no, not extended family. No. I'm talking about the chaos in the house. Yeah, that's all. And the friends that go over there, like the circle of people. Okay, I'm not, just because you're family and you're extended doesn't mean you're really the circle of people, because I've got a lot of family that's not in my circle of people. Sorry. Probably the son's murdering and sent to jail. I don't know what you meant by that, Rhonda. Oh, thank you, Sepsis. I can't see what it is on the back end. Nana of 7 says, when I adopted my granddaughter, I told them just to move on and they can document everything on the spot. It's crazy what you have to do and monthly. Yes. So I'm wondering how in the world this was able to even go through. I don't know what state you're from, but my best friend's in Florida, and it's nuts what they are making her go through. Like, she's got a big, beautiful home. She's got Everything taken care of for her. Like, and she's like, they're not even easy on her. Right? It's crazy. Yeah, and that's why I say, but it's just crazy because some people truly, but sometimes the damage is done. I was lucky because many of you guys know I talk about my story all the time. I was a piece of shit when I was younger. I did that. I had childhood trauma, which made me drink and use. And there was all this stuff that went on in my life that I had to fix. And, it made me a better person and made me go down this road. So it's like people have the past, but see, the thing for me is my family was injured, some of the things I said or some of the things I did, but not physically injured. But here it's different because I don't know if she ever really recovered from the past, but you never fix the damage. Like I didn't screw up my kids because I didn't have kids, right? I didn't screw them up. And by the time I had grandkids from a marriage, whatever, I was old. I had already gone through all this crap. So they got the good piece of me. You know what I'm saying? So there was no real damage. But here with Billy Joe, she damaged her daughter and her daughter never recovered and ended up damaging her children. And now we have a baby that will never see 2 years old. So I don't, people have passed, but, and everybody deserves a second chance. But, at what point do you stop giving them chances? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? I mean, I don't know the good answer. Sometimes I've heard many people say as many times as it takes, and God bless them. But as long as there's not children involved or it's not injuring a child, I would say, yeah, give them as many chances as possible. But when you can really cause damage to another human being, then no, no. What if Leilani surrendered the boys to Billy Joe? So no, she still has custody of Zane, and it sounds like rapper boy over here and his family are going to try to get Sky, so the kids are going to be split up. But she already has Zane. I have a funny feeling the state needs to remove Zane from her because they already gave her custody, and she returned them right back to the person that they gave her custody from. I mean, what's the purpose of giving somebody custody because somebody's unfit just for the kids to... You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, why even go through the court process if she's going to be taking care of them anyways? Just leave them with her. It just doesn't make sense. It just seems like to me that if Billy Joe would have taken her responsibility and taken those boys with her to wherever she works, and if not, they stayed 100% with a nanny during the time she's gone, that would be her having custody of them. But if you're taking, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. You guys hear what I'm saying. Hey, Justice for All, I'm just answering some questions. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I feel like I got 8.5 hours of sleep in 2 days. And I just figured maybe I'll just answer questions. You guys got to watch it live on Dolly's channel all day. And, just seeing it at, I didn't know if people process that and have questions. They don't have questions because I'm just disgusted. And I was a good girl today, Justice. I'm telling you, I was a good girl yesterday as well. I only asked a few questions when I had an opportunity. It's just they didn't like to answer questions. So that I was a F&B and all this other stuff. I have a tendency of rubbing off on people that way. I don't know why. I heard the other 2 babies are with the relatives. Well, I hope they're out of that house because she doesn't need to be around them. She doesn't need to see them again. And again, she should be on a hard, cold floor right now, not being able to socialize with friends and eat food that came home cooked. She deserves jail meal now. You killed a 20-month-old kid. You deserve that crap that they serve at the jail. I'm sorry. You deserve to have no lights or have lights on when you go to sleep. Have people watching you pee. That's what you deserve. You deserve that. Why is she not getting that? Why are they being so nice to her? I don't know. It feels like an agreement here. Maybe they wouldn't have found out what happened. Maybe she wouldn't confess to it until she was able to kind of handle her business, get her last fix. I mean, who knows? We are talking about an addict here. Who knows? I mean, that's why we were in this mess to begin with. Thank you. That's exactly all I'm saying. It just seems highly inappropriate. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know you want your friends to be out there for emotional support, but when you have a child that has just murdered another child, I think it is just, why are you out? I mean, this is what caused the problem. Do we not? I mean, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. Like, and it's almost irritating that they don't get it. Like, this is the reason we're here right now. They don't get it. They don't get it. Yes. Thank you. Dear Lord, please hold baby Q tight. Let him know he is home and safe now, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I think, you know what? To be honest with you, yeah, I do. I think they can charge her, because I would have to assume that the courts, when they gave her custody from Leilani, it was so Leilani didn't wasn't caring for them, and she allowed her to care for them. There's a reason they took that responsibility away from Leilani, and she violated that. Billy, I think grandma does have some, who knows how the chips are going to fall, but yeah, I think there could be now, like I said, it seems like this law enforcement body, and I don't know, I haven't talked to the babysitter yet, but I'm curious if they've denied her ability to charge this lady, because I heard that she went down there. We can clearly see what happened on that video. That is probable cause to make an arrest on Billy Joe. So if they denied doing that, I mean, I hope that babysitter pushes forward, because you can turn their head. You can flip their hands and make them make that arrest. But if they're unwilling to do that, you are going to have to force the hand. So I hope she does, because that woman needs to be in jail, in my opinion. How is the babysitter? Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. And I hope YouTube's not beating her up too bad over coming out, because, she wasn't a trained babysitter. You're not trained in identifying abuse and how to report it. And I'm sure she did what she thought was best. Maybe she didn't want to rock the boat. Maybe she knew all this custody stuff was going on. Maybe she just wanted to let the grandmother, thinking that the grandmother would handle all this. Knowing that the grandmother had custody of these kids. Maybe that was kind of what she thought she was telling the right person to help. So I hope YouTube's not beating up on her, or Facebook for that matter, up on her too much, because it's not like she just stayed silent. Maybe she didn't tell the right people. We can chalk that up to not thinking, made a mistake. Yeah, maybe she should have told somebody, but at the end of the day, she did tell somebody. She told the person that had guardianship of these kids and legal custody of these kids. Again, keeps coming back to Billy Joe, and Billy Joe did nothing. So I don't want to hear that grandma has her hands are not clean here, folks. Maybe she didn't do the dirty, but she's responsible somehow. And you can't take that away from her. I'm not going to. I was scared as soon as I heard trash came that day. Yes, and that's what everybody was telling me. They're like the trash came down. She waited. This is how I heard it. I'm not lying. This is how I heard it. Somebody reached out to me and said that she waited, like they were mad. She waited until they picked up that trash before she reported them missing. I'm like, how would you know that? She waited. I heard it. I'm like, okay. And so when I hear that, kind of goes, because I do this all the time, and unless you can prove it, it's kind of hard. I don't need to prove it to my audience. I just need to be proven. So when it comes out of my mouth, at least I know that what I'm saying is accurate. And so I'm hearing this, but we hear all these kinds of things all the time. So you never really know what is rumor and what is not. So you kind of just have to sit back and just see what is playing out and then figure it out for yourself. So we heard that, but I couldn't confirm that that be true. And I don't know where that came from. I just heard it going around. And then now we hear this, and it's like, I heard that story, and I remember exactly when I heard that story. And it was at the beginning. It was when this child went missing. That was the rumor that was going around, that she waited until the garbage was picked up. Guess what? That rumor is true. It appears. Right. And that's another reason why it's so important for her to be in custody. It is so important for her to be in custody because she should very well be on suicide watch. They have evidence anyways that Ellie decided to declare him dead. Oh no, they've got something. They were there with scent dogs. And I have a funny feeling because it was only, I think, 1 or 2 dogs yesterday. It wasn't, I don't think it was search dogs. I honestly believe that it was cadaver dogs. I believe it was cadaver dogs, but I don't even know if that actually hit. I still believe it was something that they collected when they did the raid of the house. And I call it a raid because what I saw that was a raid. I watched Gabby Petito when the FBI pulled up there. Believe me, it was a raid. And so they pulled up there unannounced. They start taping off everything. They start luminoling everything. This was Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Whatever they did that day, the day that they did the whole pool draining and everything like that, whatever they did that day, I think is what garnered their information. And whatever sampling they've got either has dead cells, or maybe they found, a spot where there was, blood that was too big for somebody not to have lost their life. I mean, those are possibilities. Just some things. They know what happened and they have eyes on her. They are not going to tip their hand. They are building a solid case with more than just circumstantial evidence. Absolutely. And I truly do believe that they're going to find this baby. And thank God, because you know what? How many cases do we have open right now where the children still haven't been found, right? We still have Harmony Montgomery. Serenity was found. Oakley Carson. Michael Vaughn. Cody Bigsby. Summer Wells. Gosh, the list just keeps growing. And these are babies that still haven't been found. Oh, the West boys still haven't been found. Owl Seeker says, thanks for all you do. Just more proof Ellie has no idea what they're doing. Rest in peace, baby boy. Justice will prevail. Actually, this case, I think the law enforcement, yes, they have no idea what they're doing as far as leaving the mom out of jail. Yes, I totally disagree with that decision. But again, if they could have made a deal for her to be out of jail for 2 or 3 days while they search for that boy, for her to tell them the truth and cooperate with them, if that's what got us here, then it's what got us here. I hope she doesn't run. It seems to me that could possibly be broken. I think she came to the realization to what she did, and that was the break she needed. It's rough out there, when you know the whole world knows what you did to your child. Think about that. That was playing in her head. It didn't help with us showing up there. It's psychological warfare in these things in some senses, right? Like even today, I was talking strategy last night with the bullhorn, because the bullhorn was, if this did not happen, the bullhorn was coming out today, because I just wanted to know where this baby boy was. And I was strategizing, you gotta get it. It's about the psychology of it, so you're trying to figure out what's gonna get to them, what will get to their heart, what will, so I'm thinking like things like, we want to say prayer. We want to start talking about repentance. Then we want to start breaking their case down. We want to show them all the holes in their case, why we know she did something to that boy. And there's no reason for her to keep quiet now because we all know what she did. Let's just put that boy. So it's really trying to strategizing and getting it right, because when you're out there at the end of the day, you're wanting them to cooperate with law enforcement, and you're wanting, it's psychological, Once they know, that they know what they did, it's easier to break them. They'll cooperate. New member. Thank you, Sassy but Classy. I am too. No, no, actually, I'm offensive. So they say. I'm only offensive to bad guys, right? I may piss occasional neighbor off, but really the only people that don't really like me are the bad people, and the people that protect the bad people, right? We have some YouTubers like that, right? It doesn't matter who they are, right? Like, this is a clear-cut case. Like, you saw the chat just light up with ones, but we have a person out there that says, oh, but they're innocent until proven guilty. And then you got a person out like me that says, well, they have to be, charged to get that privilege of being innocent until proven guilty, right? They have to be accused of the crime, right? Like, this is the process that we go through. Yes, they're not innocent until proven guilty in the, Bullhorn Betty's court. That's when they go to court. You stink to high heaven, I'm going to let you know you stink to high heaven. That's my job. What's that? Don't take the verses out of context. Read the whole chapter. We are told, okay, it sounds like you guys are having some kind of comment. Boyfriend has to know something. Oh, and get back to the boyfriend. Thank you. I'm tired, guys. So there's a lot going on. This is pretty, we have had 15. We're down to about 1,300 people in the chat right now, but this has been a pretty extensive chat. It's pretty large. So, and I'm very exhausted. So I'm trying to keep stuff together. Once I get some real rest, when I come live, I'll put it all together for you, and you guys will understand exactly what happened, because we should have more information. Honestly, I really want to see her arrested. I think the world deserves to see what a monster looks like. A monster can look like a normal person. A monster can look like the girl next door. That's what we're dealing with here. She's a monster. She was supposed to protect those kids, and she's the one that caused such great harm to them. It's just sad. Boyfriend has to know something. Why take off to Atlanta? Why wouldn't you stay? Oh, no. You kill a baby, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Excuse my language. Nope. My ass would be back in Atlanta too. Sorry. I mean, you can take it, but no, I'm not sleeping another day in that house. I'm not sleeping next to that person. Absolutely not. Get me the hell out of here. I'd have done the same damn thing. I mean, you got to remember, he's on drugs too, guys. You know what I'm saying? He's on drugs too. So he doesn't have a lot of money. He's going to have to go wherever he can go. But no, I don't know if he doesn't know any. I'm not saying that he did that because I think he just did that. If he didn't know anything, I can understand why he did that. BHB told everyone about their. Ellie did speak to you. What does it say? Ellie did speak to you. Good. I feel better. Until you make fun of other channels' families, I see what James is. What? Lord have mercy, people. Get a life. I don't know if it sounded like you were trying to be rude. Is that Mercy Angel of Mercy being rude in the chat? If the person's if they're just commenting, let them comment. But if they're trying to gaslight or something like that, kick them. And anybody else that's trying to gaslight, kick them, mods. Because I do see somebody in here saying some things that are a little frustrating for me to read. How could a grandma betray her grandbaby like this? You know what? Here, I'll put the question up and I'll give you my response. I try to be fair with this stuff. I have to say how I feel. And when you break the law to this extent, in a 20-month-year-old baby meets its demise, because of negligence or abuse or anything or a combination of it, I say they go to jail. That's what I'm going to say. They need to be in jail. However, it doesn't change the fact that I understand, people. And this grandmother, I don't truly believe she ever thought something like this would happen. Us standing on the outside looking in, it's so easy to say, how could you not see this coming, right? But sometimes you don't. I'm sure we've all experienced something like that in our lives where everybody else knew this was happening or this was coming, but you were blind as a bat, right? Or you didn't think it would happen to you. Well, I don't think the grandmother thought this would happen. And the other reason I think she was okay with it is because, again, I think she was like this with Leilani. I think this was normal for them. I mean, that's the only thing that would explain all of this. She didn't think anything was wrong with the way Leilani was raising her kids, probably because she raised Leilani the same way. So we have to look at that. Police said he didn't think she was a flight risk. Yeah, no, I can honestly, to me, the vibe, I could tell, everybody's a little raw there. She's broken, they realize this is horrible for everybody. The friends are trying to keep their spirits up. They got these people out there monitoring every little thing. I know it gets annoying. I get it. It's the job, but that's what news is. And unfortunately, these types of things get in the crosshairs. But I think she's broken. I think when she confessed, that was her break. I think that was, I bet you when she started, she couldn't stop. And I'm sure she was, I've seen interviews like this all the time. When they finally come to grips to what they did, it's devastating for them. I don't think she's a cold, like I've seen cold killers before, people that didn't care about somebody, that eyes are dead, like they're monsters, like and yes, I consider her a monster, but I really believe that the monster was the alcohol and drugs, in my opinion. That was really the monster for her, was the alcohol and drugs. I don't think normally she was this person. And I think when she sobered up and realized what she did, I'm sure she was pretty emotional, but the damage is done, and she is the monster. People do drugs all the time and don't kill their kids. I'm sorry. Email my local news, try to get more coverage. Yeah. Well, maybe to email the freaking sheriff and tell him to quit blocking other, like I said, they literally did not want to talk about this case today. I don't even know why they did the press conference. They should have just canceled it. That's what they should have done. They should have just canceled it. And instead of, only having, a select few people in there to hear his, boilerplate statement. So it's coming from the chief himself. I mean, that's a PR crap, just to show face. It's either give it the information or just cancel it and move on until you can. I mean, they did, from what I hear, they made the same exact statement on their Facebook or Twitter feed as they did on camera. So you made your statement. There was no point in that unless you were going to provide additional information. From my understanding, it doesn't sound like they had provided any additional information. Leilani still hasn't been picked up. GMA still hasn't been charged or picked up since she was the legal guard. No, nobody's arrested. Not one person's arrested in this case. Do with that what you guys will, but not one person is arrested. In Oklahoma, the grandparents have weekly visits, sometimes multiple visits. My neighbor had her grandbabies as fosters for 2 years, and social workers were inspecting every week. Yeah, like they weren't. Well, they're not that harsh on Laura. I think they're a monthly meeting cycle now, but it's been over a year. Like, if the children ain't being abused now, come on. Like, now you guys should go to every 6 months. The kids are in counseling. They're doing the right thing. I mean, You know, Laura's not the one that's going to be beating on children or anything like that. You know, she'll give you a look, and boy, she'll make you pee your pants if she if she barks too hard. But that's about as bad as it gets. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I think everybody does their part. I gotta tell you, I'm glad this girl confessed, because I called Marissa. I gotta be honest. I guarantee. Well, at least I think I called Marissa. My phone's broken. You can only go. I typed in Marissa. It did pop me one up, but I know she had another number, and I don't know if that was the number. If I called her old number or new number. But either way, if she's got a voicemail, it's like, Marissa, you need to get your butt up here. like that lady. What was her name? Ruth. That was, you know, that you guys heard F and B this and F and B that when I asked why is there no missing flyers. You know, as soon as she said that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you just rocked the boat. I promised my people I was going to go out there. I was going to be on my best behavior. I just want to tell my people I went out there and I was on my best behavior. I hope they're going down too. I hope they're going down too. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. I mean, I've never seen, but I don't think it's the world, because there's so many people from all over the world that's covering true crime in the United States for a reason, because they don't have this much news in their own countries. Yeah, I don't know if it rises. Well, no, I don't know if it rises to that level. I think she would have. I think it would have to be, because she didn't physically do that. So I think it would have to be something like negligence. You know, the negligence that resulted in death, or something like that. Even if it wasn't even resulting in death, it was just a simple negligence. I'd be fine with that. Just something. I mean, I understand she lost her grandbaby, but you know what? People lose people all the time and are still charged with crimes that they committed that caused that person to lose their life. Kind of how this thing works. Betty fan, did they find Baby Q's body? I was on errands. I don't think they found him yet. They were at the landfill. They've been at the landfill for quite some time. I haven't heard that they cut the search yet. It's almost 4:00. So maybe maybe we should drive out there. I can't go live because I can only go live from the room, but I'm sure we could find a way to go live. I'll scroll down here in just a little bit. Do you guys, if you guys think we should go to the landfill and maybe do some stuff, just put yes in the chat and I'll let you know. Okay, custody of a child doesn't equal no visitation, overnight visits. Addiction is still a problem in this country that has never been addressed. If GMA allowed night without approval, equal culpability. Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure, because we don't. Did we read that? I mean, they have the court order on the custody order on the Facebook group. Had anybody read it? Well, it would outline what is and isn't allowed. I did see it in the group Facebook. I didn't read through it. I just showed it. You know, I should have read through it, but I was planning this and coming out here. I didn't read through it. So I read somewhere that there's no CPS case, that Billy Joe took custody of the kids like the mom just signed them over to the grandmother. Why? What is in that court order? It's over on Facebook. I'll let somebody kind of give me the rundown of that. I don't have time to read it right now. Actually, as a matter of fact, I need to be winding this live down. I'll come back live later. But I need to get about an hour of rest, and I think we're going to be going. Well, let me see what your response is. I might just go back. I might just go now to the landfill to see if I can get. Yeah, I think so. Maybe that's what I do. The FBI running the show until body is found Then LE works with DNA to put the case together. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But I can guarantee it's the FBI that's going to be processing this. So, I mean, 20-month-old, they're not leaving that to the local. That's the resources, right? They process all the evidence. That's the resource that the FBI provides. Give me the evidence, right? We'll tell you what it says. I truly believe Grandma is pissed of all the exposure to the family's history, one, and then the money issue for the child for taxes and refunds for her telling the babysitter she paid her. Yeah, there's definitely something up with that. I bet you Mama said, I want the custody. I've been taking care of these kids. I need the tax credit. But you know what? I'm telling you, whatever's going on here, and I sniffed it. I said it was fraudulent, but I'm not sure because some people are like, well, maybe it was because they were about to take the kids. CPS was about to take the kids, but somebody said there was no CPS case. So, and how would we know if there was a CPS case? Because those things are kind of confidential. So I don't know. But yes, the exposure to the family history, because the grandma is a hot mess. But you know what? This is the new age. Like you got babies missing and YouTubers find out about it. Yeah, we're sleuthing. We're going to find out who everybody is, what their background is, what they like to eat, who they like to hang out with, where they like to go. Yes, we're going to want to find out every bit of information we can find out about these people. So anyways, guys, I'm really, really, really super exhausted, and I've got to get out there to the landfill. I got to get out to the landfill and see if we can see anything out there, and then we'll go from there. How long was Mom and boyfriend living with Grandma? I don't know. Well, it couldn't be very long, right? Because less than 2 years, because the baby was with another man and he was only 20 months old. And she had a 4-month-old. So, 2 years or less. It couldn't have been that long. The boyfriend anyways, because the boyfriend is, can only be 24 months or less old. I don't know what his expiration date is, but I guess it was when this child went missing or when he went to Atlanta, Georgia, because why in the heck would you let your abusive daughter live with you after you? Yeah, well, it sounds like they were all living together. Then Mom went for custody of them. But I have to think that, even Grandma must have saw some things going on that even went above what she did, like. If there's 2 landfills, make sure you check which one is zoned for their specific address. There's multiple landfills, but we already got word that they were at the Little Neck Road landfill where you guys actually sent us yesterday. So thank you for that. Yeah, no, the whole landfill, Frankie Tower gets it. The whole landfill's the whole stuff is pretty cool. Anyways, guys, listen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for an hour, but as you can imagine, it's easier for me to go live at the time everything's happening, but with technical issues, thank God you guys can see us live on Dolly's channel. I'll come live and try to do some Q&A and stuff like that on this channel, but I will start working on some of the footage that we have and getting that put up for you, because there's some stuff that's interesting. And again, I'm ready for some rest. I'm exhausted. All right, guys, I love you. Take care, and we'll chat soon. Bye.